Welcome to the stream, everyone. My name's Brian Craig. If you're new, this is where MAGA comes to talk. We've got a lot to cover, and anytime I'm live streaming, I do take live calls. If you're watching live, the call-in number is pinned at the top of the live chat. Okay, so this incredible video of President Trump giving a statement to the very corrupt Letitia James has leaked out. It is spectacular, and it's amazing, and I'm glad this is leaked out. I hope it makes it outside of into the corporate media so we can find out everything that's going on, but I want to play you the statement. But first, let's read through the article, and there's a bunch of other things that I'm going to cover on the stream as well. President Trump's recorded statement during New York City deposition was just released, and it's lit. Trump never backs down. And when you see it, you will most definitely, I think, agree with that statement. New footage of Donald Trump's legal statement during his New York City deposition is chilling to watch. We've never seen Trump like this. And I agree. When you watch this, it's pretty emotional. I was emotional when I watched this. What they are doing to President Trump is unconstitutional and disgusting to watch. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a political prisoner. We have this weaponization, they call it lawfare is what it's being called now, of our justice system. And Letitia James could very well find herself in a prison cell. She is so corrupt. She is so misusing her powers and authority. She's like a dirty cop. So here is President Trump reading his statement during the bogus case brought against him by Letitia James. And that's a still shot of it. And it was at 9:45 a.m., and let me pull up the statement. This is really interesting, and you're going to hear President Trump, before he reads the statement, he's talking, and there's a voice off to the side that is a female voice. I'm assuming one of his attorneys, one of his lady attorneys, and they're telling him to read the statement several times. And I'm wondering if you can pick out who you think that lady lawyer is here. Listen.
Mr. Trump, what did you do to prepare for today's examination?
Okay, now first off, I'm not going to interrupt this every syllable or anything, okay? I'm going to run it in its entirety from this point forward. But it's Mr. President, not Mr. Trump, okay? It was Mr. Trump before he became president-elect. Then it was Mr. President-elect. And the reason they call him Mr. Trump and not Mr. President is just a level of disrespect, because remember, Letitia James said that he was an illegitimate president when he won in 2016, that he wasn't really the president, so they call him Mr. Trump, not Mr. President, because they don't recognize that he was ever president. But anyway, I'm going to run the whole thing in its entirety from this point forward.
Mr. Trump, what did you do to prepare for today's examination?
You can read your sentence.
Very little.
Read your statement.
If you'd like, I could read the statement, but very little.
Excuse me. Read the statement.
Can we go?
Yes, he would like
I will now use my moment to go off the record.
Thank you. Sorry. Just read the statement.
We're going off the record at 9:44 a.m. We're back on the record at 9:45 a.m.
Mr. Trump, I understand you have a statement that you wanted to read into the record.
Yes.
Would you please feel free to start at any time?
Thank you very much. This is the greatest witch hunt in the history of our country. There has never been another president, or perhaps even another politician, who has been persecuted, harassed, and in every other way unfairly treated like President Donald J. Trump. What Letitia James has tried to do the last number of years is a disgrace to the legal system, an affront to the New York State taxpayers, and a violation of the solemn rights and protections afforded by the United States Constitution. She developed a political platform and made a career out of maliciously attacking me and my business before she even understood or was elected or reviewed one of the millions of pages of documents we willingly produced. We willingly produced these documents. James proclaimed that she, quote, looks forward to going into the office of Attorney General every day, suing me, and then going home. This is during her campaign. She announced that she was obsessed with, quote, taking me on, and that her eyes were set on Trump Tower, quote, Trump Tower. She even assured her supporters as an election promise very strongly that, quote, we're going to definitely sue him. Before she even knew anything about me, we're going to be a real pain in his ass. He's going to know my name personally. And she claimed I was on an illegitimate, and that it was an illegitimate president. Quote, illegitimate president. In her AG speech, she promised to, quote, shine a bright light into every dark corner of Trump's real estate holdings. Shortly thereafter, she vowed to, quote, use every area of the law to investigate President Trump and his business transactions, and that of his family as well. She knows nothing about us. This is when she knew absolutely nothing about us. It was very unfair. This whole thing is very unfair. As a pretense for commencing her bogus investigation, Letitia James relied on the testimony of Michael Cohen, a convicted felon and liar. The Southern District of New York astutely described Cohen as a man who, quote, repeatedly used his power and influence for deceptive ends by engaging in, quote, extensive, deliberate, and serious criminal conduct consistent with a, quote, pattern of deception that permeated his professional life. This was in a long, many-page statement by him. It only gets worse. This is the witness, a stone-cold loser, a real loser, that she used to justify her obsessive work, her obsessive investigation.
Okay, now that's all that's leaked out so far, and that's pretty powerful. I don't know about you all, but I find it emotional. You guys find it emotional? It's emotional for a number of reasons, and part of it is because here you have one of the dirtiest prosecutors in the history of the United States, certainly since the era of color television sets. And she ran on the campaign to misuse the office if she was elected Attorney General of New York, and here she is doing it. And one thing I talk about quite often when it comes to Letitia James, you know, what she's doing is what those racist Democrats, she's a Democrat, what those racist Democrats did prior to the Civil Rights era. You had states' attorney generals and judges and local prosecutors, Democrats all, who would misuse their offices to use the system, use the legal system against African Americans unjustly. And that's what Letitia James is doing today. And it's sad. It's disgusting, it's angering and all of that, but it's also sad, isn't it, that this is happening? And, you know, part of it is that if they can do this to President Trump with his $10 billion net worth, he's a president of the United States, he will be again. He has the top lawyers that any American could afford to hire, a dream team, and even still, you have a corrupt legal system, a corrupt justice system, corrupt public officials, bad cops, bad prosecutors, bad attorney generals that are able to do this to him, and it's pretty outrageous. Now, there's some updates in this fraud trial, which I'm going to get to in a little bit, but I pulled up something. I wanted to show this to you. You know, I live in Palm Beach, where President Trump lives, where Mar-a-Lago is, and I know that area where Mar-a-Lago is, and it's pretty valuable. And she says that Mar-a-Lago is only worth $18 million, and President Trump says there's been valuations around $1 billion. And I pulled up on Zillow. I wanted to show you guys. Let me pull some of this up. And, you know, Zillow is underestimating the size of Mar-a-Lago, and I just want to establish that before I show you the Zillow listing, not just of Mar-a-Lago, but of the much, much smaller mansions They're bigger than my house, but they're small mansions compared to Mar-a-Lago. Now, Mar-a-Lago is at 1100 South Ocean Boulevard in Palm Beach. And this is the Wikipedia, which gives you, Mar-a-Lago is 62,500 square feet. 62,500 square feet. And it was built in 1927. Okay, so that's important. 62,500 square feet is Mar-a-Lago. And it's pretty massive. And so Zillow has a much smaller estimation of its size, and I'll explain that to you in just a minute. Now, this is the Zillow listing. Now, Zillow says it's worth valued at $24,260,800. Okay, but look at how they are minimizing the square footage. I told you it's over 60,000 square feet, but Zillow says only 5,061, which is absurd. Now, it has 58 bedrooms. 58 bedrooms. How many bedrooms do you have? We have 3, okay? One of them was turned into this studio that I podcast and live stream on YouTube from. Another one's a studio that a bedroom my daughter used to have that my wife's transformed into a art studio, and then we have our master bedroom. But 58 bedrooms, okay? Now, Zillow is estimating it at a lot more money than Letitia James, but it's actually worth more than that. And if we get down into it, okay, this is Mar-a-Lago, all right? And Mar-a-Lago contains more than just this. This is also part of Mar-a-Lago. It's right across the street. And when you've ever seen me go to Mar-a-Lago and make YouTube videos there, welcome. If you're new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. If you've ever seen me go up to Mar-a-Lago and make YouTube videos, you'll often see me, I'm walking, and I'll walk through here, and this house, this area over here is part of Mar-a-Lago. You can see it's right on the ocean, and it's not counted with the square footage or anything over here. And you'll see very fancy maids in the old classic maid uniforms come out of this. And Mar-a-Lago has its own private beach, which Zillow isn't factoring in, and these 2 buildings. And you get here, you don't cross the street. There's a tunnel that you go through from Mar-a-Lago underneath the road over here to the beach. Okay? And there's some other buildings, too, that Zillow's not including. Over here, there are some buildings. Over here by the tennis courts, there's more buildings. There's more buildings here. There's more buildings over here. There's other buildings that Zillow is not including in their square footage. That's where the discrepancy comes from. They're not including all these buildings that are over here and over here. But Zillow is saying it's worth $24.3 million. Well, what I did is I pulled up this on Zillow because it gives you a map. Now, these are areas that you can't get through without a card key, all right? So I was going to go up there and show you, but I wouldn't be able to give you this behind the scenes that I can here on Zillow because these are private roads. And, of course, this whole area is guarded by the United States Secret Service. In fact, one of my friends, Rob, who's also a listener, watches on YouTube, and he and his wife, Lago, on our cruises, Rob and I were walking right here by Mar-a-Lago. We got here at the gate, and the Secret Service jumped out of nowhere, told us to keep walking. And this is also this is the main entrance to Mar-a-Lago. And then this is a service entrance that guest, if you're a guest to Mar-a-Lago, you typically go through here. Where the FBI broke in was right here. The FBI broke in right here on this road to Mar-a-Lago. But you can see there's all now the reason I pulled this up is because Zillow shows you the price of the mansions that are much smaller that are surrounding Mar-a-Lago. So I showed you how big Mar-a-Lago is. This mansion right here next door, $29.3 million. This mansion is $8.98 million, $8.8 million, $16.8 million. This mansion, $24.8 million, right? And these are mansions, and they're in prime real estate, but they're not the castle of Mar-a-Lago, you know? So and you look at these. So they're accusing him of fraud, President Trump, because they say that Mar-a-Lago is worth only $18 million. Well, this mansion here, which looks like a tiny starter home, right, compared to Mar-a-Lago, $24.8 million. Look at this one here, $54.6 million for this mansion here, which, by the way, these are not on the beach. These don't even have water. This one here, 11.4, 12.5. Remember, here's Mar-a-Lago, 9.66, 16.7. 10.1, 11.1, 9.8. Yeah, and has the judge done? Here's an empty lot. They've torn down the mansion, 25.3 for the empty lot. And look at this. It's still tiny compared to Mar-a-Lago. The Mar-a-Lago parking lot is bigger than this empty lot. The empty lot, 25.3 million, 11.3, 23.4. This does not even have waterfront. There's no water here. This does not have ocean or intercoastal. Mar-a-Lago has water on both sides. Let's go back in. Okay. Let me see here. See, this is Mar-a-Lago. This is the Atlantic Ocean over here, and then this is the intercoastal waterway. And you continue to look. I mean, look at these. 19 million, 23 million, 28.4, 35.6 million. So how can this weirdo judge claim that President Trump has overvalued Mar-a-Lago, that it's worth only $18 million, when this empty lot here is $25 million? Here's another mansion, $25 million. It continues. I mean, it's this is available. Here's another empty lot, no water, $23 million. Elizabeth, $5 super sticker. Thank you so much for that. Here's $18.8 million. Again, now this is a big mansion, small compared to Mar-a-Lago, but no water on any side. Completely landlocked, $18.8 million, which is what the judge says Mar-a-Lago's really worth, just that. And you could go through all of the Palm Beach area. And, here's a place. Now, this is a big estate. It's not on the ocean. It's on the intercoastal waterway, which is not the ocean. And it's not Mar-a-Lago. And it's smaller than Mar-a-Lago. $50.9 million. So, give me a break. So this whole idea that Mar-a-Lago is worth just $18 million and he's committing fraud is, it's just that. It's insane. And no one buys it. It's complete BS. And this judge, not only should the judge be removed, the judge should really be disbarred and maybe even investigated for criminal charges, because listen, I just did this Zillow search right before the live stream, and I was just about to go live, and I said, what, let me go on Zillow. It took about 10 seconds. I just put in the address of Mar-a-Lago, and that comes up on Zillow. So how can you question the value of Mar-a-Lago and say it's worth only $18 million when you've got these neighborhood properties that are much smaller, not on the ocean, and Mar-a-Lago has water on both sides, which is very unusual, and it's a large area, and it's also the best spot on all of Palm Beach Island. It's insane. But that's how these lunatics operate on the left. They don't care. So the judge is actually starting to get a little bit of blowback, this lunatic. New York appellate judge smacks down far-left judge Ngorian and pauses dissolving the Trump organization. Look at this lunatic. And let me just move out of the way. Why the hell is his clerk sitting next to him like that? Have you ever seen a courtroom? Look, I'm sitting between him. You can see her to my other side over here. See, right there. Yeah, I would never be a good TV weatherman. Why is the clerk sitting so close to the judge? Have any of you seen something like that before? I've never seen something like that before. It's very strange. Very strange. And she keeps whispering in his ear during proceedings. A New York appellate judge on Friday, yesterday, smacked down far-left lunatic Judge Arthur Ngorian and paused his order to dissolve the Trump organization. Who does this lunatic think he is? Dissolve the Trump organization. Last week, the judge issued an order to rescind Trump's business licenses as punishment in Letitia James' civil lawsuit. The judge effectively, by doing this, ordered the dissolution of the Trump Organization. Judge Engorian ordered that some of Trump's business licenses be rescinded as punishment, making it difficult and impossible for them to do business in New York, and said he would continue to have an independent monitor oversee Trump Organization operations. This is according to AP. You know what I just did showing you guys on Zillow. Why has no one in the media done this? You know why? Because they don't care, they hate Trump, and they're not about the news. They're propagandists. The corporate media, the corporate mainstream media, in particular the cable news, all of them, including Fox, it's like Pravda during the Soviet Union. If not successfully appealed, the order would strip Trump of his authority to make strategic and financial decisions over some of his key properties in New York, according to Associated Press. Last week, Trump said his civil rights were violated after the judge issued the order. He said, "My civil rights have been violated. In some appellate court, whether federal or state, must reverse this horrible, un-American decision." So, so far as the judge being overruled, next to no coverage of that in the mainstream corporate press, because they don't want you to know the news. They got an agenda. And that's how it's going to continue, and I think Trump understands that for the rest of his life, this is going to be his life. This is what he's going to go through. I've kind of accepted that every day for the rest of Trump and the MAGA movement on the scene, which will be for all of our lives. The MAGA movement's not going away. This is just the beginning of the MAGA movement. You guys understand that, right? This is the MAGA movement. Of course, it's about Trump, and Trump's the founder of it. But it will go beyond him when he's no longer with us. That would be like saying the United States was just about George Washington. And, George Washington set in place a lot of things that changed the standard of how everything was done in this country. 2 terms, all that stuff. And Donald Trump has done a very similar thing with the MAGA movement. He has changed so much so far as what the American people will tolerate and what the American people expect of our government and our officials. And there will be a second MAGA president. I used to think it was going to be DeSantis. I know you guys did too. But it's not going to be DeSantis. Who that'll be, I don't know. I don't know who will be the second MAGA president after President Trump's second term. But he has put something in place that's not going away. And the only thing that's going away is the relevancy of the mainstream media. And, the mainstream corporate media, which is almost out of business now, really, they have lost, I would say, probably about 90% of their influence so far as the narrative. Because a lot of people, millions of people still get their news and information from corporate media, unfortunately. But if the corporate media had power, Kevin McCarthy would still be Speaker. And then we got an update in the classified documents case. Now, Judge Cannon, she's the Trump appointee in the documents case. Right? Now, Judge Cannon in the documents case on Friday paused litigation in deranged Jack Smith's classified documents case as she decides whether to grant Trump's motion to extend deadlines related to the classified material. Trump attorneys Chris Keiss and Todd Blanche accused deranged Jack Smith's prosecutors of using delay tactics to slow roll the discovery process and taking too long to turn over evidence. The Trump attorney said the May trial date makes the schedule unworkable, okay? And so she has paused the case as she reviews this. So Jack Smith is things are not going as well for Jack Smith as he would like you to think that they are going. Now, I want to tell you guys, I know a lot of you have already done this. If you've not already, order your Mighty Magalion, available at MightyMagalion.com. And there's a link in the description of the video as well. The MightyMagalion.com is amazing. Online at MightyMagalion.com. MightyMagalion.com. And the Mighty Magalion, of course, has 45 on the side. Looks just like Trump. He's cute. He's fierce. And we have been shipping these out like mad this week. They were available for pre-order, and now they're available for immediate order. And all the pre-orders have been shipped out. And I know a huge chunk of you that ordered during the pre-order period have received your Mighty Magalion, and more of them are coming. And I've been going to the post office every day so much this week that they know me at the post office, like by name now. They don't know what's in the boxes, okay? They're liberal, people at the post office. And I don't wear the MAGA hat in the post office, because I want to have some good customer service. They don't know that they've been mailing all these Magalions. In fact, we have had so many of these to ship out this week. It was too much for me to carry on my own. So I learned something about the post office I did not know. You can set up the post office. They'll come to your house and pick up packages. So twice this week, we've had the post office come to the house and pick up shipments of the Mighty Magalions. And those of you, when you receive your Mighty Magalion, you can help us promote it by posting a selfie or a picture of your Mighty Magalion on whatever social you use. And tag me if you can, if it's Twitter or Truth. And also, if you could put our link, MightyMagalion.com, in your post when you post your Mighty Magalion to social media so that your friends and followers on your socials can order. Also makes a great Christmas gift for yourself, a loved one, your kids, your grandkids. MightyMagalion.com. Order yours. And, again, available exclusively through me. So when you buy your Mighty Magalion, you are, of course, supporting all my content, guys, and that's greatly appreciated. Oh yeah, it's nice, and I've been hearing from a lot of you who have received your Mighty Magalion. Debbie, yours they're all on the way. If you pre-order, they're all on the way, and they'll arrive based on how close you are, because we're mailing them from Florida, and the closer you are to Florida, the faster you will get them. Now, General Milley here, what a piece of, he
President.
is. And, of course, he's talking here. Let me pull this up. He's talking to 60 Minutes about Biden. No, hold on, I got to rewind it. Give me a second here. Oh, boy, I tell you, the internet.
President.
Okay, yes. He's going to talk about the fitness of the sniffer-in-chief, Joe Biden.
President Joe Biden has been portrayed by his political opponents and even some of his allies as too old to be president. I'm not asking for your political opinion here, but how does he seem to you?
Look, I'm not going to comment. I didn't comment on the former president's mental health, physical health, and I'm not going to comment on the current president's.
Yeah, because President Trump is in better shape than he's in better shape than me, and he's many years older than me. So he wouldn't comment on Trump's health because it was so good.
He seemed to you.
Look, I'm not going to comment. I didn't comment on the former president's mental health, physical health, and I'm not going to comment on the current president's mental health or physical health. I think that's highly inappropriate for the...
Now this guy here, I want to point, let me pull this up for you guys. Hold on, I want to show you something. Let me see here. I want to just show you something about him. He's a real piece of work, isn't he? Isn't he a real piece of work? I want to show you something here. Let me find a picture. Okay, here we go. Let me pull this up and show this to you. Let me find... Bear with me. It's live, guys. It's live. Now, I'll find what I'm looking for. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. This is General Eisenhower, who defeated the Nazis and won the Second World War, right? Look at his chest here. Just has a few ribbons here. Not too much, right? Not too much. Look at this lunatic. Look at this lunatic. This guy... He's certainly no General Eisenhower, right? And look at all these medals he's got on. It's what a difference, huh? It's just absolutely amazing. Look at that. There's the great General Eisenhower. No need to show off. They both have the 4 stars. This is before he had the 5th star. Just a couple little things there. And then this guy here, he has more ribbons on his chest than a Soviet Union general in the 50s standing next to Stalin in some propaganda parade. This guy, General Milley, has more insecurities than any man who's ever been the chairman of the Joint Chiefs.
President Joe Biden has been portrayed by his political opponents and even some of his allies as too old to be president. I'm not asking for your political opinion here, but how does he seem to you?
Look, I'm not going to comment. I didn't comment on the former president's mental health, physical health, and I'm not going to comment on the current president's mental health or physical health. I think that's highly inappropriate for the senior officer of the United States military to do that.
Really? Remember when he went out and trashed Trump when Trump was still in his first term? He made a video distancing himself from President Trump when he walked across the street to the church. He should have been court-martialed for that and imprisoned and lost all of his rank.
I would just tell you that I meet frequently with the president, and every single time I meet with him, he is just fine. How people interpret that is up to them, but I engage with him frequently and alert, sound, does his homework, reads the papers, reads all the read-ahead material, and is very, very engaging in issues of very serious matters of war and peace and life and death. So if the American people are worried about an individual who is someone who's making decisions of war and peace and has access to, makes the decisions of nuclear weapons and that sort of thing, I think they can rest easy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's made such good decisions. Look at his kids. They're both junkies. Now, give me a break. Of course, what a criminal person he is. First of all, Milley, there were two things about Milley that should have resulted in him being removed from his office, court-martialed, and everything else. On January 6th, when he called his Chinese counterpart, went around the chain of command to let him know everything's okay, and then he seized control of the nuclear arsenal. He should have gotten a life prison sentence for that. And, when you go to prison, you're ranked prisoner, lose all the stars and go to prison. This is what it should have happened for that. Really should have. Should have been drummed out of the service, court-martialed and in prison when he made that tape after he walked across the street to the church with President Trump after the White House was attacked by Antifa. It didn't happen. And now he's out there, continues to trash Trump. And what kind of credibility do you have? He couldn't even say, like if you're some Biden sycophant, you could say, well, he's not as sharp as he used to be, but he's okay. They can't even, no, oh yeah, he's the most physical fit. It doesn't get better than this. When you hear these people like Milley talking about Biden and his physical health and all that goes into it, it's like you're watching a newscast in North Korea and they're telling you about something to do with Kim Jong-un. It's not even credible. And here we have this lunatic, sniffer-in-chief, senile old coot running this country, doing something very dangerous, and that's taking us to the edge of a major war with Russia. And look at this. Diplomacy crisis. The U.S. expels Russian embassy officials. My goodness, you don't expel embassy officials till you're on the verge of war. And the U.S. State Department announced on Friday the expulsion of 2 officials from the Russian embassy. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing that I've been telling you guys this since this Ukraine nonsense began, that there's a plan here, there's a scam, there's a racket going on. And if you watch me regularly, you've heard me point this out many times, and it's very important as to what's going on. Now, this fake proxy war against Russia and Ukraine serves a couple of purposes for the Democrats and Biden and all these guys, okay? One is, it's a money grab, because they're taking all their money, and everything else from the Ukraine funding. I mean, that's a big one. But also, no president has lost re-election in time of war. And if you notice, as President Trump, these new polls came out from MSNBC 2 days ago. I talked about them on the live stream yesterday morning. That has President Trump nationally ahead of Biden in every category. So then all of a sudden, the day that those polls make the news, they expel 2 Russian ambassadors, taking us closer to war. That's a hostile act, what Biden did here. Quite a hostile act, in fact. Okay? And since they know no president has lost re-election in time of war. They're escalating things to get us on a war footing so that when the election comes around, they figure, well, that'll pull us over the finish line, because we'll be at war and people don't want to switch presidents during war. Now, that, of course, is old school thinking, because this war, everybody knows what it is. It's a fake war. We have no business having anything to do with this. And what's going on in Ukraine is none of our business. And U.S. opinion against this war is very similar to what U.S. opinion was at the height of the Vietnam War. We don't want anything to do with it. We know what's going on. And escalating a war with Russia is just going to make things worse for the Democrats. But that's not going to stop them. And and then we have this issue that's going on that's really frightening. This new America that we're in. William Arkin, he's the senior editor at Newsweek. And Newsweek, I guess they don't have a magazine anymore, but it's still online, pretty credible. So the senior editor of Newsweek says, I'm confident this is the stated play. MAGA is being targeted in 2024. The FBI created a separate extremist category just for MAGA. So, a big part of their strategy, too, is to classify the Trump movement, the MAGA movement, as a domestic hate group, a domestic terrorist group, and try to outlaw it. Zelensky has outlawed the opposition political parties in Ukraine, and they're on the verge of doing that here. And it's only a matter of time before they get these leftist think tanks to start openly, okay, we've done extensive research and we're declaring MAGA a hate group, like the Ku Klux Klan or the Aryan Nation or something. That's what their move is. And, this goes back into this weaponization of government, this lawfare, bad cops, bad law enforcement, bad public officials misusing their authority and everything to do things like this. And, I believe that while a lot of the MSNBC crowd might high-five themselves when they see this, I believe that most Americans, when they see something like this, are like, hey, wait a minute, that's just too far. That's just too much. They may say they're not MAGA, they may be a Democrat, they may be this, they may be that, but they're very much against making someone a criminal because of their political affiliation. I mean, we have communist, Green Party, environmental lunatics. How many different political movements are there in America? There's an infinity number of. There's still a prohibition movement or a flat earther movement, right? When I was at Turning Point USA a couple months ago, I can't remember who said this. One of the speakers, Matt Gaetz, was there. Paulina Luna was there. President Trump, of course, was there. Megyn Kelly was there. One of them, Byron Donalds, I can't remember which one said this, but one of them said that you never see anyone challenge the Flat Earth Society. There are people who are not only members of the Flat Earth Society, there are people that actually believe in this country that there is no scientific evidence that the Earth is not flat and believe the Earth is flat. I know that sounds crazy. And she says no one challenges them or characterizes them as anything because it's just not credible or believable, right? And there's all these different political groups, the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, and these mainstream third-party groups like the Green Party and such put up presidential candidates. And sometimes they're on the ballots in different states. And they never get criminalized. They don't have special designations by the FBI. They don't have a Gitmo in D.C. with Green Party people because they're not a threat to the establishment. They're third-party lunatics in these other extremist parties for the most part. Not all of them, but most of them. And since they're not viewed as a threat to the establishment, they don't characterize them as hate groupers or insurrectionists or anything else. The MAGA movement is the first long-standing conservative movement that is an activist organization. It began with the Tea Party. The Tea Party in 2010, it began, but it fizzled out. And it really doesn't exist, so to speak, anymore. I mean, there's no Tea Party anymore like it was because the Tea Party, a couple things with the Tea Party. One, the Tea Party didn't have a leader like the MAGA movement does with our great President Trump, okay, to, be the chief leader and organizer. But it was infiltrated. It wasn't well organized and infiltrated by the establishment, and now, boom, it's gone. There is no Tea Party. Okay? I know they say that the Freedom Caucus in the House is what's left of the Tea Party. That's BS. There's no more Tea Party. Okay? It's gone. And they were able to infiltrate and take over the Tea Party. That's why people like Allen West are no longer in Congress and out of government, because he was a Tea Party candidate. There were other Tea Party candidates. They're all gone now, or they've been compromised and are now part of the establishment. And they've not been able to do that with the MAGA movement. And the MAGA movement is the first conservative activist organization of people, you guys watching me here on YouTube, that stand up and say, hey, this is what we believe. And the MAGA movement doesn't believe in anything radical. Make America great again. We want affordable gas. We want to drill, baby, drill. We want low taxes. We basically just want to be left alone and be able to go out and work hard and earn money to support our families. That's all we want. We want an America first. We want our borders to be established and protected and things. You know what the MAGA agenda is. It's really not radical. It's kind of a mild activist position, you would think, wouldn't it? It's, the green people, they're radical. They want to outlaw oil. They want to outlaw all our cars and force us to drive golf carts around and things like this. That's radical. But the establishment has never had to deal with an activist group like the MAGA group for years. I mean, my goodness, President Trump came down the escalator like 8 years ago. So for 8 years, this movement, the MAGA movement, not only has been effective. I mean, look. The MAGA movement, led by President Trump, just removed the uniparty establishment Speaker of the House from their position. Isn't that something? That's absolutely amazing. And the MAGA movement did that. President Trump did it. It's amazing that happened. The Tea Party could never pull something off like that. They were not able to. All right? And the establishment, they don't know how to deal with it. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to criminalize it. And that's the only thing they think they can do to win, and is to criminalize it. And right now, I mean, we've got so many problems that are going on right now, and President Trump, the only president not to start a new war since the end of the Second World War. He actually ended wars without starting any new conflicts. Kept peace. And remember when President Trump went to Saudi Arabia and how the king over there honored him and everything, driving around in the golf cart and all this stuff. And look what we wake up to today. Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister, has declared war against the Palestinian militants after a border attack. So Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, today, declared war against the Palestinians that led a deadly multi-front attack in his country that left 22 people dead. This would not have happened if Trump were in the White House right now. And if it did happen, it would have been cooled off and taken care of before we got a war going on. So here we've got the world in chaos. We've got massive inflation. How many people are struggling just to fill up their car? My goodness, because gas prices are so high. Prime Minister Netanyahu said in a televised address he was mobilizing his forces for an extensive assault in Gaza after an attack from the Palestinian militant group Hamas. Hamas is Iran. Think about it. The Iran deal, it's back on with Biden. We're giving money to Iran like crazy. They just gave how many billions to Iran? Do you think it's a coincidence that Hamas is on the move right after there was a big inflow of cash into Iran? Of course it's not, because Hamas is an Iranian front group, all right? And Iran funds most of the Islamic terrorism around the world. And oftentimes, like with Hamas, incredibly directly. This is no secret. And the attack that has now started a war, an attack that has now started a war, in essence, and against Israel, has been funded by us because Biden just gave billions of dollars to Iran. Boom. And then they give money to Hamas. Now they're flush with cash. Next thing you know, the Iranians, through Hamas, are attacking Israel. Hamas is to Iran right? What Ukraine is to the United States right now, right? It's a proxy war. Iran is fighting a proxy war against Israel through Hamas. The United States is fighting a proxy war against Russia through our proxy, the 51st state, Ukraine. And with this happening in the Middle East, my goodness, guys, how long has it been since we heard stories like this out of the Middle East? And now, boom, the world is in chaos under the sniffer-in-chief, the senile old coot, Joe Biden. And it's not slowing down. By the way, if you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe, all right? You'll love my channel. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I'm the most pro-Donald Trump, pro-MAGA guy you're going to find on YouTube or anywhere, guys. I promise you. And those of you that are already subscribed, make sure you like the video, because when you like the video, that helps spread the word about the video, okay, and my channel to people that have not yet found me, and it helps the channel grow. And I want to tell you guys, if you go, there's a link in the description. You can get your copy of this book from Joe Thomas, the Retirement Know-It-All, and I had him on the show a couple days ago, Joe Thomas. He's offering this book for free to those of you in this audience. There's a direct link to the book in the description of the video, and you can order yours or go to jupiterjoe.com and click the book link. Also, you can schedule, no matter where you're located, you can, in the United States, you can schedule a free financial consultation with him. He's a financial planner, and he is offering to listeners of this stream, of this program, free consultations as well, a free book and a free consultation, okay? And just go to jupiterjoe.com. There's a link in the video description. And remember, when you use and support the sponsors, you're supporting all my content, all right, guys? Yeah, get the book for free and get that free consultation. If you're already retired, he can help you too. If you plan on retiring at some point in your life, or semi-retired, and maybe retirement's 6 months away, or 6 years, or 20 years away, Joe Thomas can still help you. So go to jupiterjoe.com, get your free book, and schedule that free consultation with financial advisor Joe Thomas. All right, guys? I appreciate that, and I do appreciate you guys supporting all the sponsors of the program. So there was all this BS news that that Biden was going to finish the Great Wall of Trump, and there was a story that Mayorkas, who he should be impeached too, of course, Mayorkas, we all know that he was supporting building the wall and completing the wall. In fact, they were talking about actually suspending environmental regulations to allow construction to begin sooner. And, of course, total BS story. And Mayorkas released a statement walking that back. Listen to this.
I want to address today's reporting relating to a border wall and be absolutely clear. There is no new administration policy with respect to the border wall.
Oh.
Allow me to repeat that.
Yeah, we heard you.
There is no new administration policy with respect to the border wall. From day one, this administration has made clear that a border wall is not the answer.
Oh.
That remains our position, and our position has never wavered. The language in the Federal Register...
Should we really have a Homeland Security Secretary that has the Mexican flag on his lapel, equal to our great American flag, by the way? I don't care that he's at this conference. I would not wear a flag of another nation on my lapel, even next to our American flag. Would you guys? Here we are, under attack from Mexico, and he's got their damn flag on his lapel?
The nation has made clear that a border wall is not the answer. That remains our position, and our position has never wavered. The language in the Federal Register notice is being taken out of context, and it does not signify any change in policy whatsoever.
Wow. And not only that, not only are we being invaded, it's a violent invasion that's taking place against our country right now. There was a big battle. There was a big battle that took place between the Texas Rangers and the cartels. The cartels are occupying with machine gun nest an island on the U.S. side of the Rio Grande. So that's U.S. soil. They have machine gun nests that are set up, and they're occupying U.S. territory. And they're not going to do anything about it. So then Biden walked it back yesterday, too. I don't see the Mexican flag on Biden.
on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
Okay, how does a wall not work? And, you know, all these people that are against the border wall because walls don't work, all of them live behind walls, right? They all live behind walls. They live in gated communities with walls. So if walls don't work, why do they have them? In fact, Biden has multiple homes, and each one of his home has a wall or a fence around it. Now, I want to ask you guys this. Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going third party. He's going to be speaking at CPAC. What do you guys think about that? You know, CPAC's been bringing Democrats the last couple years. And, I've got respect for Bobby Kennedy, but I don't think he should be CPAC is the Conservative Political Action Conference. You know, CPAC is supposed to be like the Comic-Con for conservatives. And last year they had Tulsi Gabbard, who's not only is Tulsi Gabbard a Democrat, she's not even a conservative Democrat. She believes in the legalization of all drugs. And she was honored at CPAC. That's wrong. There were other Democrats too. Should Bobby Kennedy be speaking at CPAC? I don't think so. You know, there's a move going on, and you see this in a lot of the news about it is they say that Bobby Kennedy is a threat to Trump in the 2024 election, not Biden. I don't agree with that. But if he's propped up by conservatives and passed off as a conservative, which he is not, I mean, he may be a conservative compared to the radicalism of the Democrat Party today, but as a movement, as a conservative movement, Republicans and the MAGA movement, which is part of that movement, we should not be elevating him and promoting him as if he's a conservative. I respect Bobby Kennedy, all right? And I know you guys do too. We've got respect for his uncle and his father, and I would love President Trump in his second term to declassify all government documents and files relating to both Kennedy assassinations and put Bobby Kennedy Jr. in charge of it. I think that would be amazing. But to promote him as a conservative, I know he doesn't like Fauci, and but most old-time Democrats, you'll find one or two things you'll agree with him on. Very few, but I'm talking about the old-time Democrats, not these lunatics we have today. But promoting him as a conservative at CPAC and other things is bad news, and that's not a way to go, because what you'll be doing by doing that, and what CPAC is doing, is making it more realistic that he could chip away some votes that we need in this 2024 election. This is nonsense. I don't trust that at all. Now, listen, guys, if you're new to my channel, make sure that you subscribe. Everyone else that's already subscribed, like the video. And we have shipped out all the pre-orders of the Mighty MAGA Lion. Okay, so if you ordered your Mighty MAGA Lion on pre-order, it has been shipped, and we're shipping them out pretty fast. We've been shipping them out every day this week. In fact, I was talking earlier how we had the post office come to the house. I've had the post office come to the house to pick up packages, and also the same day gone to the post office and mailed more. So we've been working hard. We've got all of the pre-orders out and shipped. I know many of you have received yours, and you can order yours right now. They're available now at MightyMagaLion.com, available exclusively through me at MightyMagaLion.com. And when you get yours, you know he is very well made, the Mighty MAGA Lion. Very well made. Even the stuffing inside is high quality. He's very soft, very cuddly. He's got his MAGA hat on with 45 on the side. He's cute. He's fierce. And you can order yours, MightyMagaLion.com. There's also a link in the description of the video, MightyMagaLion.com. Order yours. Great gift for yourself and a great gift for Christmas for the kids, the grandkids, or your significant other. MightyMagaLion.com. Order yours, guys. All right, well, have a great day, everyone. I will see you later. My name's Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. See you next time.